said I was a cop, but yes, sir, I was a cop.
Okay.
And police officers are first responders. That means we're generally the first ones to show up and one of the last ones to leave.
Right.
And if somebody has lost their life, the coroner shows up. They put the toe tag on them, and then they take the body off.
Ooh.
And so I have to sit there and watch all that happen. And Hurricane, when I tell you that we're losing our kids like crazy.
Right.
They're taking their lives, the choices that they're making, from human trafficking to gang violence to drinking and driving to drug overdosing. We're losing our kids every single day. And so we got to do something. So what I did was I took the stories from the streets and I started to write them, and I took those stories and put them on the stage. And that's how I created the Toe Tag Monologues.
Wow.
Because we understand that a toe tag is more than what you get if you die.
Yeah.
A toe tag is something that our kids have on every day. Things like low self-esteem, things like ditching school, things like bullying, teen suicide, human trafficking. All those things are toe tags that a lot of kids have.
Wow.
And some kids try to hide them.
Yeah.
Some kids try to hide them, and then some kids, you could clearly see them.
Yeah. Good point. And that's so true. And I'm sitting there thinking while you're talking. So you're basically telling us that you're telling stories that you've seen out there in your 26 years of law enforcement.
Yes, sir. Stories that I've seen, and stories that we hear about and see every day. I mean, I'm at no shortage of information and stories, because madness is happening every day. These shootings are bananas. We have a school school violence shooting one where a kid gets shot in school. And it's something that you have to see.
Yeah.
And it's back in the day, it was something that you never heard of, but now it's happening like every other day.
I know. And being in my position in media and everything, having to kind of talk about that stuff, I'm seeing it even more so than ever. Like just a couple weeks ago at an Atlantic station in downtown Atlanta, a 12-year-old was shot and killed, and a 15-year-old got shot, and he eventually succumbed to his injuries and died. And I mean, these kids, and just 2 days ago, right here in my town, at the mall near me, a kid opened fire with a gun, like a 12-year-old or something like that, 12 or 14-year-old. He didn't open fire. The gun just went off. That's what they're saying. So we got little kids carrying guns. I'm wondering how they're getting them. Are y'all, is that part of what you guys looking into as far as talking to kids about guns? And I mean, because you're right. You're hearing about people getting shot all the time, every day in the news, different violent crimes going on. We have social media putting out all these influences and making kids feel like they're less. That's the thing I've been perplexed about, is a way to find a solution. What do we do? And I know there was a ton of questions in one. I'm like, what's the answer?
But the answer has got to be multifaceted, because the issue is multifaceted. It's never a one size fits all problem, and then therefore you just go to the shelf and you pull off the answer, or you take a pill and it's just going to solve it. Yeah. No, because a lot of times, a lot of our kids are dealing with so many different issues and so much trouble. And so we have to approach it from every single angle. We have to start thinking more like kids versus like adults, because we like to, for example, let's say the hot topic right now is bullying. Right. So we want to just talk about bullying, but you don't want to talk about sexual orientation. You don't want to talk about kids wanting to take their lives. You don't want to talk about the issues that are happening in the house. You don't want to talk about molestation. You don't want to talk about all these other things that build and are part of the issues and challenges that our kids are going through. And so we have to be open-minded enough to talk about everything. That's what we do with the Toe Tag Monologues.
Yeah, and that's great, because...
And we use it...
Go ahead, Ken.
I was going to say, we actually use... it's peer-to-peer, so kids are talking to kids. We take kids from ages 5 to 27 that look like everyday kids. They all look very young, and they're telling these monologues. They're telling the stories. You actually think it's happened to that person. They're so talented, so believable.
Really?
And these young people are really ambassadors for us. We started with some of them so young, and now they're in college. They're at Howard University and San Diego State. These kids have stayed on the straight and narrow because they believe in the message that they're speaking to other kids. So it's a peer-to-peer program. Mr. Stringer was blessed to write the monologues. I've been blessed to train them. But these kids, when they go forth, so when your audience of kids are seeing them, it hits them in the heart. They realize, hey, I don't want to die. This is going on in my life, and I'm going to talk to somebody about it now. That's how powerful these monologues are. I tell you, I still watch them, and I'm emotionally touched. When new people see them, they're blown away.
Wow.
Because, again, it's not you and I and Mr. Stringer. We're adults. We're professionals. We're not telling the story. We're allowing the kids to tell the story. And when you see the gurney roll across the stage in the body bag, that just kind of blows you away.
Wow. And, and with kids, talking to kids, they tend to have more empathy because they can relate to each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they can relate. And I always tell my listeners and everything that, there's a lot of people we, in our years of doing what we do, that are dealing with mental illness and different things, different issues, even bullying and a lot of the things that you guys are talking about. A lot of times I try to influence people to become an advocate. That's a great defense, is to get involved or become an advocate or do things like what your kids are doing, in Toe Tag Monologue. And it tends to carry on through life. Like you said, they become grown-ups and now they're out there doing their own thing, trying to still serve the community. And I think back to that all those questions I had about what can we do, I think that's one of the best defenses right there. If you're going through something, get involved in it and try to help others going into it, and in turn you'll educate yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we've been blessed to be a sponsor of high school down here, and we work with a lot of school programs down here with Cat 10 NT Radio. And so this is important because we got a lot of young listeners that are going to be hearing this message and just don't know how to get involved. So we want. Go ahead.
I wanted to share with you that Vision Theater Foundation that Mr. Stringer founded. He did it, again, I think, as a call from God, but most importantly, out of his own pocket. We are a 501c3. Okay. Our goal is to travel and touch as many lives as we can, and we've been blessed to be here in Las Vegas in Clark County School District, the fifth largest school district in the nation.
Wow.
And we began to go out, and I think one of our first trips years ago, about 8 years ago, was to Atlanta, Georgia, to the Boys and Girls Club of America, their national conference of young leaders. There were over 3,000 young leaders from all over the world were there. Yep. And these young kids, they had young B.O.B. and Jordan Sparks there in the Toe Tag Monologues. Wow. That director said, Miss Flowers, when Toe Tags came on, not one kid was on their cell phone. Nobody got up and left. They were glued to what they were watching. She said when they watched young B.O.B., they were all over the place, and Jordan Sparks, but they just were intrigued by this Toe Tag monologue. They wanted to come and talk to the kids. So I know that it's powerful. We're excited to come back to Georgia again.
Yes.
The university and Savannah, Georgia, brought us in as well for an at-risk youth conference.
Really?
And so it was one of those young people that saw us that told Newton County or told Miss Wilcox about Toe Tags, and she contacted me and said, hey, is there any way we can get you guys to come here? So that was a blessing in itself. I call it a God for Clinton.
Yeah. It's so awesome. Big shout out to Karen Citizen Wilcox with the Council on Alcohol and Drugs for reaching out and making that step. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let the sound of applause off, because people like that is what it takes. If they reach out and find people like us, that we may have not even gotten the recognition or gotten out there getting heard by certain people without these people. So that's why I always say it takes a village. And now look, I'm talking to you guys now. Now I got a new connection. You got a new connection right here. You see what I'm saying? And we keep doing it like that.
Absolutely right.
So we're soldiers down here pounding the pavement. And with that said, this is a great interview. We want to cover more, but I want to go ahead and get ready to take a break. But when I come back, I want to know, because I like for people to realize that we're no different from them. We're normal people that just took a step out there to do what we feel like our God gift is to do and what we're going to do to serve our purpose in life. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so
and Hurricane, when you come back, I have a message for young people, because a lot of times they feel left out, and they think that sometimes the radio shows are for adults.
Yeah.
But this radio show right now is for young people.
Yeah.
And what we're bringing is for the young people. And I got a message for young people, so please stay tuned.
Ooh, nice. I like that. I need to hire this guy, because I like to set up nail biters. I was about to set up a nail biter. Now I'm switching it over. That's going to be the nail biter. The message to the kids and everything. So parents, I know the kids are in school like in the mornings when the show's on, but the rebroadcast is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's like 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, something like that, on the west side in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So make sure you grown-ups that are listening this morning, make sure you get your kids over here to check this out this evening, the rebroadcast of the Hurricane Main Show, because this is some deep stuff. We cut up, we have fun, but like I said, we're no different from you. So that's why I want to get to know a little bit about where you guys came up from also in the next segment. Where you grew up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just connect with people. Empathy is so powerful. You know what I'm saying? Because
we're really more alike than we are different.
Amen, brother. Well said. Well said. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. Then we're going to come back and chop it up some more and everything. Then get ready to close the show out and everything, and talk about how people could learn more about Vision Theatrical Foundation and Toe Tag Monologue. Okay? Okay. So with that said, I want you guys to hang in there. Before we started, our Byron Stringer said he had an iPhone, sounding all fuzzy. You know what I'm saying? and Kim was sounding like she's right here in the studio with me. So for all of y'all out there hating, and she's got an Android, by the way, and Stringer's got an iPhone. So I'm just saying, for all you kids telling your parents, you need an iPhone, or I need an iPhone for Christmas. Remember that. Now we got Byron sounding good right now, but it took a little bit of work and adjusting now. But we got them, and we got both y'all. So y'all too, y'all hang in here. Listeners, y'all hang in here. Keep it locked. We're going to be right back with more R. Byron Stringer and Kim Flowers of Vision Theatrical Foundation right here on the Hurricane Main Show on Cat 10 ENT Radio. Y'all keep it locked, all right?
Hello, everyone. This is your girl, the one, Latavia, founder of the Opening the Closed Doors. And you're listening to the Hurricane Main Show on Cat 10 ENT Radio.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. I got me one. The floodgates is open and nothing can stop it. Just that on that. I gotta keep going, figuring out an option. Just that on that. Not counting my problems, I'm counting these blessings. Just that on that. Not taking no losses, I learned from my lessons. Just that on that. That just that on that. And that just that on that. That just that on that. And that just that on that. Not counting my problems, I'm counting these blessings. Just that on that. Not taking no losses, I learned from my lessons. Just that on that. That just that on that. I'm speaking facts on facts on facts. I shook some demons off my back and thank the Lord I'm back on track. People said, man, you changed, went through too much to stay the same. And through the mud and not the rain, it make me whole and heal the pain. It's a dirty, dirty game, but I came to be the light. Give my battles to the Lord and wash my hands and let him fight. I can do all things, that's the Jesus in me. Look to the hills will come my help, and it's just the beginning. The floodgates is open and nothing can stop it. Just that on that. I gotta keep going, figuring out an option. Just that on that. Not counting my problems, I'm counting these blessings. Just that on that. Not taking no losses, I learned from my lessons. Just that on that. That just that on that. And that just that on that. That just that on that. And that just that on that. Not counting my problems, I'm counting these blessings. Just that on that. Not taking no losses, I learned from my lessons. Hey, it's the grace for me. No safer place for me. When I was going out bad, the Lord was chasing me. Some people counted me out, my God, he ain't forsaking me. The world didn't make me, so the world, it ain't no breaking me. I know that I'm made for it, I had to get saved for it. Decree and declare, blessings coming from here to there. The Lord is my light, so who shall I fear? I'm coming harder than ever, applying the pressure. Flesh and blood, we don't wrestle. Set the bar, make them jump for it. I'm the queen on the chessboard. The floodgates is open and nothing can stop it. Just that on that. I gotta keep going, figuring out an option. Just that on that. Not counting my problems, I'm counting these blessings. Just that on that. Not taking no losses, I learned from my